I can't
Hello,
hear anything.
everyone. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Wind Down Fridays will Give a Sister a Hug. I'm your girl, Author Erica. I have my fabulous co-host on with me, Author Kim, today. And as you all know, that October is Domestic Violence and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this is the Wind Down Fridays will Give a Sister a Hug survivor story edition. So each lady that's gonna come on gonna either tell their story about domestic violence or breast cancer. Today we have our sister on with us today, Miss Freya. Did I pronounce
Yep.
that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did it. I'm
Yeah.
excited. So we're gonna give our sister the floor and she's gonna tell her story. Thanks for allowing wind out thanks for allowing Give a Sister a Hug to showcase your story and share it with other people.
Yep, no problem. Okay, so I guess when the relationship first started, everything was fine. We were young, everything like, I don't know, he was adventurous and he just had that I don't care attitude. You know what I mean? Like, that's, I guess, what attracted me to him. And then I would say after we had my daughter, things started changing. I was in mom mode. You know what I mean? I
Right.
was not like adventurous anymore. I was like, no, like bills had to be paid, diapers have to be bought, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. My job's important, the stuff needs to be taken care of. And then that's kind of when everything started changing. I found out that he had cheated on me we were at the time 25 and the girl was 17.
Oh.
I did leave him. I was stupid and I took him back because he said that he had changed and he had messed up and he realized how important family was. Took him back. Um, Things were okay for a while and then he started to be really controlling. I think it was the aspect of when he was cheating on me, that guilty conscience, he constantly questioned me about where I was going, what I was doing, if I had to work over at work, because at the time I was the manager. If I had to work over, why did I have to work over? I need to show him my punches from work, et cetera, et cetera. Um, then I just kind of ignored it. I was like, you know what? It's his guilty conscience. I'm not doing anything wrong. So, that's fine. I'll show him what I'm doing. I don't care.
Right.
Then right before we had moved to a different house. He got a new group of friends and they were doing meth. So mind you, he smoked weed. I didn't care about weed. I could care less. But he started doing meth. And that was when things absolutely completely changed around. I ended up getting pregnant with my son, and he accused me of sleeping with his brother, sleeping with all of his friends, saying that our son wasn't his, etc. He started pushing me around when I was pregnant. I basically told him, I'm going to call the cops. If you don't stop, then things are going to get really bad. Like, you need to stop. I'm pregnant. Number one, you don't need to be doing this.
Right.
And so he did stop for a while. And then he started using more and more and more because I had also gave him an ultimatum like, hey, you need to stop. This isn't right. He was also, at the time, I didn't really know, I had a couple credit cards. He had stolen my credit cards and had maxed them out. What he would do was he would go and buy gift cards and then he would sell them for cash to get his drugs.
Oh.
So because they were like emergency credit cards, I didn't really think about them. Didn't know. No, had no idea what he was doing. And when I confronted him about it, it was my fault. So then he started getting extremely physical with me. He would punch me, he would pull my hair. Of course, nothing at the time was in front of the children. But there were times where it was so bad to where I had to call off work. Makeup wasn't covering anything up. I would not see any of my friends for a while. And I try to make it work. I try to get him help. I try to get him in rehab. Nothing works. So at the time we were living in Michigan, I'm from Ohio. And I said, I'm done. I'm moving back home because I need more family support. Because I
Right.
had no family. I had friends, but they have kids too. I didn't want to put anyone in a damper of, hey, my friend has two kids and she's in an abusive relationship and the guy's a drug addict. Like, I didn't want to put anyone else in that position. So I worked things out. moved back home. He followed me. He first threatened that he was going to call the cops on me for kidnapping my children from him. And I moved. He followed me. I didn't really have a choice. My dad, thank God, was there to help me with babysitting the kids while I started working. And even though we weren't together at the time, he was still very controlling. He would take my phone from me. I would have to hide my debit cards in the house in different areas. I actually ended up giving him one of my old cars so he would leave. I gave him my old car when I got a new car. I gave it to him, like, free and clear, here you go.
Right.
Was the last part that you guys heard. My car was parked, well, the old car that I was giving him was parked out on the street. So I went out there with a screwdriver, to take my license plate off. And he waited until there was a car coming, and he got pissed off and he pushed me out in the middle of the road because I told him, I'm giving you the car, but you're not having my plate.
Right.
So I went to go take the plate off, and he literally pushed me out in the middle of the road when there was a car coming. Thank God the guy was paying attention and he didn't hit me. My daughter witnessed this. And I told him, I said, you need to leave. Like, I'm getting ready to call the cops. Like, you cannot do this. And the guy was like, he thought that I fell because he didn't see, all he saw was like my leg. And then he just saw my whole body fall out. Like, he didn't see him come up and push me.
Right.
So unfortunately there was no witness. I did at one point, I did retaliate. I was breastfeeding my son, and he was pissed off at me probably because I wouldn't give him any money. I don't know. He was always pissed off at me for something. And I was holding my son, and he literally, I don't know if you both have ever breastfed, but it's very sensitive sometimes. And he literally gave me a titty twister.
Oh.
Yeah. So I retaliated and I punched him in the face. That was the only time I ever put my hands back on him because that hurt so bad. Like, I literally saw stars.
Right. You're defending yourself.
It hurt so. He's hit me many times. You know what I mean? Like, it never hurt that bad, but that was like one of the worst pains of my life.
Right.
I was feeling that. So I punched him. And what does he do? He calls the cops on me. Really rude. They did not do anything. They basically just said, why don't you guys just take some space, blah, blah, whatever. I was like, okay, fine. So he was okay for a while. Again, we're not together. He's just living there until he can leave, which I'm trying to get him out, whatever. So then I can't remember exactly what happened, but his phone broke. He was also going through phones all the time because he was very klutzy or he would forget them somewhere, whatever. So he broke his phone and he went to go take mine from me while I'm on the phone with my employer. And I said, no, you cannot have the phone. I'm on the phone with my boss. And he called me a fucking liar when I'm trying to talk to my boss, mind you. And so I hang up and he grabs my phone from me and I grab it back. I put it in between my chest. So I'm like holding it up to my chest with my arms. And he knocks me down on the ground. And this was the worst that he ever beat me. He was punching me in the back of the head. He was scratching my face. He was trying to do everything he could to get my phone from me. So at that point, I was done. I went to the police station. They took pictures. They actually put a warrant out for his arrest. They arrested him. He went to jail. Then when he got out, my dad was there and he pretty much said, you're done. You need to go. Like, you cannot stay here anymore. We don't care where you go as long as it's not here.
Right.
And he finally ended up leaving. He went to move in with somebody down the street so he could still see the kids. But my daughter was so traumatized that she didn't want anything to do with him. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't blame her. And the cops had even told me, your best bet is to not even let him have contact with her at all. So there is a no contact law instated. It's still instated. I renew it every year. If he were to try to contact me, if he comes back into the state of Ohio or into the county, he can actually get arrested as long as I approve. Yeah. So last time he even tried to contact us, like for my kid's birthday, was 2 years ago. So, I mean, my kids and I went through a lot. My son doesn't remember anything, thank God, because he's 4. but my daughter, she remembers a lot too. And it was really rough. And I will say, meth changes people. It
Yes.
did him a complete 360. He went from, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a decent guy. You know what? He would give his shirt to anybody. He was that type of person. But once he started doing meth, everything changed. Everything. His whole demeanor changed, his personality, everything. And everything was always constantly my fault, or I'm cheating on him, or I'm doing this. He literally, at our one old house, he thought that I was sleeping with one of his friends. So he took out the grass in our backyard so he could see footsteps going to our house. I mean,
What?
that's like how crazy he was. Yeah, that's how crazy he was. He
Wow.
literally was taking a shovel and digging up the grass. So there was like nothing but mud and dirt. So he could see footsteps in the grass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So
That
at what
is.
point
Yeah.
in your at what point in y'all relationship were there any happiness? Like, can you remember a time where y'all was happy?
Yeah. At the beginning, at the very beginning, like, well, even after we had my daughter, yes, we were happy. But again, I was, in mom mode, like, hey, bills need to be paid. He still wanted to go out and drink and to go out and party and hang out with friends. It's like, no, I'm not okay with that. Like, I have stuff to do. I'm a mom now.
Right.
Like, I need to have money for babysitting. Now we need to have money
Right.
for this. It's like I was the responsible one. He was just like, oh, who cares? It'll get paid. No, it has to be paid by us. And it was getting paid by me because he was more worried about having fun.
Wow.
We did at the very beginning, we had an excellent relationship. Like, it felt like we were soulmates,
Right.
but just things started changing. And like I said, once he started meth, it just went downhill. It was done for. It was gone.
So was the Matt
Wow.
situation with him on drugs, was that something that happened gradually or it just happened, look, boom, he just went on from smoking weed to meth, or it was just something that happened, boom, weed to meth?
He had smoked weed since I had known him, and then he started dabbling a little bit in coke, and then he heard from people that, well, meth is cheaper than coke and it lasts longer. So that's when he started doing meth. It was literally only when he would party, and then it happened daily. Daily.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
daily. Like, he would not
So
sleep for days.
it was nothing really traumatizing to him that something traumatic happened to him to where he felt the need to, try to, what is it, soothe themselves or, try to coexist with, so I have to have this dependent of this drug, but
Nope, it was just a
that
party
wasn't it.
thing. Nope, it was just a
Yeah.
party thing. Like, and then he realized, oh, I can stay up for days and days and days and days. He literally would not sleep. He would go like a week. I'm not shitting you, a week without sleeping.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it
did he
was
have a
crazy.
job during this time at all?
At that time, no. He used to be a tree climber and he made really good money doing it. But
Uh-huh.
because he was so wired all the time and his boss knew something was going on, like, you're not acting right, he fired him.
Hmm. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So during your
So,
relationship, was your relationship with him more physical, mentally, or it was a little bit of everything, a little bit of?
It was a little bit of everything. Yeah. He didn't really start getting physical until, the meth thing, when, like I said, after we had my daughter and we had broken up and gotten back together from him cheating, he was controlling. Like, he wanted to know where I was at all times. He wanted to look at my phone. He wanted to see my work punches. So it started out that way. And then it got physical when he started doing meth.
Right, and normally that's what happens. Like with most people, it's the mental part first, because
mhm.
they
Yeah.
know once they get to your mind, they got everything else, and then normally the physical. When y'all did have physical altercation, any of your legs, did you have to go to the hospital for?
No, I basically hit everything.
Wow.
So like, if I didn't have that bad of a bruise on my face, I would cover it up with makeup. Thank God, like, none of my teeth got cracked or anything. Like, it wasn't that bad. I never got stabbed or anything. It was just mainly pushing and punching and kicking.
At what point in the situation you told your family about the domestic violence?
Not until after I moved back home to Ohio. My mom, she came to visit us and she kind of figured it out, and then she questioned me about it, and then I was honest with her. I basically did not let anybody know.
Yeah, which is typical because you try to hide that because you don't want to hear the girl why you stay or girl you should leave,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
everybody is
people don't realize how hard it is
What
to
it
leave.
is. Yes.
And that's what I tried to explain to my mom. I was like, okay, you have to understand, I was by myself in Michigan. Yes, I had friends, but I had nowhere else to go. At the time, he was watching our kids, so he was basically my only babysitter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I had no other choice until I moved back home to Ohio. I had no choice.
right. Did you I know you say you was pregnant. Did you during your pregnancy did he hit you? If he
The only
did, did you
time when I was pregnant with my son, that was when he had started doing meth. When I was pregnant with my son, when he first started accusing me of cheating on him and saying that our son was not his, I told him no at one point, and I told him he was fucking stupid to, not believe that our son is not his. And I tried to walk out of the bedroom door. He blocked me, put his foot out when I tried to like squeeze through, tripped
Mm-hmm.
me, and then he started kicking me in the back. I did go to the hospital for that, but I told them that I fell down my stairs.
Oh.
so
Okay.
did you have any problems with giving birth to your son? Because I know a lot
No,
of
thank
women
God.
say
I
the
mean, thank God. No, nothing was wrong. He's amazing. He gets on my nerves now. I want to strangle him myself, but I know I can't. He
Right.
talks
right.
back. It's like, oh Lord. But between my 10-year-old daughter and my 4-year-old son, they both act like they're 16 and they talk back, and it's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with you right now. But
Right.
I mean, thank God my son, when he was younger and he saw things happen, like he would start pulling my hair, or he would hit me in my face, but he stopped that a long time ago, like pretty much within the first 6 months after we left, or he left, because I'm with an amazing man now. We have our own home. We're getting ready to buy it. He's amazing. But
That's good.
yeah, he was showing signs of like he wanted to hurt me because that's what he witnessed.
Right. Right.
But yeah, he pretty much stopped all that. So he does not have fits like that anymore. Now it's just, I want to watch Paw Patrol or I want to watch Ninja Turtles. And if I don't put it
Right.
on right away, then he has a hissy fit.
Right, right. So that's a typical 4-year-old. So
Yeah.
I totally get that. I totally get that. And that's good that you haven't let it stop you. You're in a new relationship with someone that treats you way better than your last. And so now
Yes.
what real love feels like. And that part
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes. And that's what I try to instill in my daughter's head as well, because I'm also slightly overweight. I used to be extremely overweight when I first got with him. And I think that's why I just try to attach myself to him, because when you have low self-esteem, any
Right.
type of affection or attention, it's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave that, because then I
Right.
would be single, because, in us girls' heads, sometimes,
Right.
if we're single, then we're nothing.
Right.
So I think that was also like mentally my thing about that too. Like, okay, well, I'm a chubby girl. And when I had my daughter, I gained 80 pounds when I was pregnant with her. At the end of my pregnancy, even I think it was 3 months after I had her, I weighed over 300 pounds. And I did drop down to 170. And that was when he and I got back together. And I think that was another reason why we got back together, because, I was skinnier. That was honestly the thinnest I've ever been in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So where
But I think that's also a big part is, women have no self-esteem and they think that's all that they can get. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
So where are you now as far as now like your healing journey? When did that start? And take us when you got to the healing part, take us to right now where you are now with the headspace that you are now as of today.
right now I used to have nightmares all the time. I used to have anxiety attacks, panic attacks. Anytime like my son would like have a terrible toddler moment where he would start screaming or crying for no reason, I would literally break down and start shaking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, It was really bad. My boyfriend has helped me through everything. He has literally been my rock. He I probably should have started therapy. My daughter actually is. She's in therapy right now, but I can't afford her being in therapy and myself being in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's basically been my pretty much therapist. He used to talk me through everything. He would tell me, breathe, just say it. Say what's on your mind. I don't care if it pisses me off. Just say it. Just get it off your chest, because the more you hold it in, the worse it's going to be. So
Right.
he has been actually my huge healing,
Mm-hmm.
because he makes me talk. He makes me get it off my chest. Before, I used to not be able to talk about my problems. You know what I mean? If I had a
Right.
problem, then I was
Right.
stupid.
Right.
And he
Right.
forces me to. He's like, no, you need to talk about it. You need to get it off your chest, because then it's
Right.
going to bother you and you're going to have another panic attack. Like, you need to breathe, talk about it. Let's go. He said, if you want to scream, let's go outside. If you want to
Right.
punch the wall, let's go outside. You can punch the siding on the house, because I know you can't break that. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's my motivator. He's like, hey, no, let's talk about it. Come on, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
He's been my healing person. And I know it's kind of weird coming from a abusive relationship and then having someone force it out of me, but that's what I needed. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I try to instill that in my daughter too. Like, he and I have a great relationship. My kids think he's their dad. You know what I mean? Like, they call
Yeah.
him dad.
Yeah.
He's been there for my kids more within the past almost 3 years than their biological father has. So
Mm-hmm.
that's dad to them. And I
Yeah.
tell my daughter all the time, this is the kind of relationship you want. Someone who talks to you, someone who won't let you shut down, someone
Right.
who will force
Right.
you to communicate with them. This is
Right.
what you need. This is what you want. You want someone who treats you right.
Right.
And, because my daughter, she's also a little chubby as well. So that's one big thing in the back of my head. Like, oh my God, she's going to get into an abusive relationship like I did, because, I was a fat girl and I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest worries in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that makes sense, because that's, it's sad, but that's how majority of them think.
Yeah,
I'm
it's true.
glad somebody is looking at me, and I'm thankful, so whatever he wants is like, and then they know, oh, well, I could do this, and I know I could do that, because,
Exactly. They can get away with murder.
exactly. Exactly.
Yes. So, before we close out, and I want to say thank you for sharing your story. What are
Yes.
some lasting words that you may have for someone that's right now in this time, and they may be in a situation or they're getting out of a situation? What kind of lasting words do you have for them?
Yes.
I would say, I know it's hard. Have patience, try to deal with what you can just to survive, especially if you have children. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. I
Yeah.
swear to God, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I don't know why God puts us in these situations, maybe to make us stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for instance, that Gabby girl, that just was found dead. I don't
Yes.
know if you guys saw that on Facebook or on the news and like the
Yes.
videos. Like, you could tell she was in an abusive relationship. And that hits all of us hard,
Yeah.
because we've been through that. That could have been us. That could have been you. That could have been me. You know what I mean?
Right.
We could be dead.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we
Exactly.
don't want that to happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it does. But you just have to have faith, and you have to try, and you have to work hard. And
Mm-hmm.
again, like with me, I was saving money on the side to where he didn't even know about. So I could move to Ohio. Like,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, you do have to be sneaky about stuff. You
Yeah.
have to survive. You have to
Yeah.
say things to survive. And yes, it
Yeah.
sucks, but there is light at the end
The
of
end
the
of the
tunnel. You just have to reach for it.
Yep.
Ask for help. If you have family, ask for help.
Yep.
I know it sucks and you don't want to admit, yeah, I'm in an abusive relationship. Okay, well, why didn't you leave sooner? It's not that easy.
Right.
But there are people like I'm one of those. I wouldn't say I'm an advocate, but sometimes when people post on that page, I message them like, hey, do you need to talk? I
Mm-hmm.
talk to people, whether
Yeah.
it's reaching out to someone who you don't even know, just
Yep.
getting it off of your chest. Just there's light at the end of the tunnel. I swear there is.
Yep. There is.
There is.
There is. Mhm.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep. We are
Um,
all testimonies of that.
yes. So, you have
I,
anything? What you was about to say?
sorry, my daughter was calling me. I didn't know if you guys could hear it or not.
Oh,
I told her, I'm like, I'm on the phone. Don't call me.
we all supposed to wrapping up. So, sister, you have anything before we leave?
Nope. I just want
No,
to thank y'all. Want to
just
thank you for sharing your story. And uh Just keep doing what you're doing, girl. You going in the right direction.
Right. And stay
Yep.
always.
Like I said, I'm thankful every day. Every day I'm thankful. I mean, God puts us through shit, and I'm at that point where it's like, you know what? He put me through this for a reason. I'm a stronger person now, and my family is all that matters.
Yep.
So,
Right. And we have to take care of the little people, even though the little people get on our little last nerve, but we still have to
oh,
take care of the little
yes.
people, and we still got to protect them. So
Yep.
Oh,
I think
yes.
you do a great job. I think you did a great job. I think you did an awesome move. The move to make that move
Yep.
to say, I want to have a better life.
Yep.
So again, I want to say thank you from sharing your story with us and give us a hug and allowing us to showcase it on our platform. So ladies or men, because we have men out there that are dealing with domestic violence. If you're in a situation, get help. Don't sit there. Don't be quiet about it, because there is somebody, and sometimes it takes strangers. That's all it is. Sometimes it's not
Yeah,
family that's
it
gonna help
does.
us. It's
Yep.
strangers that steps up 10 to 1 and help you get through whatever you is. If you scared, go to the domestic violence website. They have a number that you can text someone if you can't talk.
Yep.
They have
Yep.
all sorts of information. So don't sit there. Don't stay. Make a plan. Have a plan of action. What it is, a safe plan is
A safety
always
plan.
important. A safety plan is always important, and make sure you let someone that you can trust, that's not going to
Yes.
tell your plans to anybody.
Yep.
So make the
Yep.
move. It's okay. It's help out there. I know it's gonna be the frustration of worrying about what's the next move, because we worry about the what's the next move in regular life. We
Yep.
gotta play chess
Yep.
and make it
Hmm.
happen.
Yep.
So
Yep. That is actually a great way to state it. You have to play chess. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I love that.
Yep.
yes, we have to play chess with this. So I
Yes.
want to thank everybody from tuning in to Wind Down Fridays. Give a sister a hug. I'm your girl, Author Erica. I have my fabulous co-host, Author Kim, with me, and I want to thank my sister, Freya.
Freya. Freya.
Freya.
Freya.
I want to thank
Yep.
my sister
Freya.
Freya for coming on today and sharing with us. So you guys have a nice day, and thanks for tuning in.